Hello, everyone. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. If the LA Zoo animals could talk, they would express their gratitude for the significant state funding they are about to receive. Future visitors will also benefit from inclusivity improvements, and our younger generations will better understand the importance of taking care of the species they cohabit with.
Knock, knock. Iguana. Iguana share my enormous gratitude to Senator Portantino for being able to secure $2.2 million in state funds for the LA Zoo.
So this is a really great day. It's the first time our state legislature is giving funds directly to the LA Zoo, which, as we know, serves everybody in LA, Southern California, our state, and our world.
Thanks to Senator Portantino's leadership, it is going to help us to renovate some exhibits that improve animal welfare and wellness here. There are two bird species that are actually going to be the beneficiary. One is the Cape vulture. It's native to Africa. And then the trumpeter swan is going to be a beneficiary of a renovated exhibit. It's the largest swan in North America. The other funding will provide for our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and access by allowing us to develop a really state-of-the-art design for inclusive restrooms. We want all Angelenos to feel welcomed and feel like they belong when they come here, with all the differences that make us so unique, and that we're going to use to improve future projects here at the zoo. So we're just excited to be able to accept these funds from the state and are very grateful.
I heard somebody say today, and I'm going to say it, it's not our job to go left or right, it's our job to go forward. And so that's what the zoo is doing. They're going forward with a vision that helps Los Angeles and helps generations. And so I just was pleased to be a conduit to that request to make it happen today.
You know, we talk about, wanting to educate and engage our visitors of all ages. We know that young people are the key to the future. So it's really important to develop these young conservationists, children that will take the right actions and have the right behaviors that help protect this planet. And seeing them is the first step to developing empathy and caring about these other animals that share the planet with us.
Every kid loves the zoo, but what she or he learns from the zoo stays for a lifetime, understanding these great creatures, but also understanding our role in coexisting with them, not just being human beings that destroy their habitat.
Investing in our youth leads to long-term success. Young Angelenos looking to enter the workforce are being strongly supported thanks to the state-funded Youth Jobs Corps. Whether you're looking for job opportunities or want to learn about different career options, this program is a valuable resource.
This center is one of many work sites. You could multiply this throughout the city and throughout the state that is hosting youth in the Early Childhood Education Student Advancement Program, one of a number of programs that is part of our Youth Corps, our Jobs Corps for California, enabling young people to see pathways that they only imagined open up before them. And the pathway to opening up those opportunities is now paved with the help of $553 million from Governor Newsom's California Volunteers for Youth Employment Program, funded by our legislature, which is truly a game-changing statewide investment expansion.
It's a season for youth, but it's always been a season for youth. And it's just so great that youth are being elevated this year with so many programs and resources. And it's just the beginning. We have to just continue to invest.
I started in a program similar to this. Back then it was called the Summer Youth Employment Program. I wouldn't be here today as a general manager if I didn't have the same type of opportunities that these youth are getting. So it gives them a pathway to, some financial stability, gives them work ethics, and again, pathways to different careers in our department that they may not know of.
We're asking everyone who knows the young people to spread the word and really to tell young people that we need you, that you have something important to contribute to our society. We're going to give you the opportunity to do it and give you a good job at the same time.
As children start a new school year, it's important to think about ways to guarantee their well-being. LAPD officer Matthew Cruz shares some practical and valuable safety tips to make sure the journey to and from school is as smooth and seamless as possible. Check it out.
So the one thing I want to tell families is to make sure you make time your friend. What I mean by that is make sure you have enough time to safely take your kid to school. You're gonna want to educate your child in being able to walk to school safely. And start with basic things. Start with make sure you look left and right before you cross the streets. Make sure to use the sidewalk, and make sure to use the crosswalks when you're crossing the street itself. I would highly recommend even taking your child on a test walk. Just walk from your house to school and back, and just let them know, hey, watch out for this, make sure to stay out of the street, things like that. You want your child to be able to operate the same way as if you're there compared to when you're not there. Teach them about the dangers of stranger danger. Let them know, walk in groups, try not to have them talk to any strangers. And of course, obey all traffic rules as you walk along the streets. Riding a bike, it's a good workout, it's fun, but it could also be a little dangerous sometimes. So just be sure to stay on the right side of the road with the flow of traffic. If you're gonna stop your bike, stop on the sidewalk. And of course, obey all traffic laws. Don't run any stop signs, don't run any, red lights, just stay with the green. So if you are a bus rider, you're a student who's actually taking the bus to school, don't wait in the middle of the street for the bus. If you're gonna look for the bus, at least wait on the sidewalk. When you enter the bus, just stay close to the driver, travel in groups, try not to talk to anybody you don't know. If you're gonna cross in front of the bus, try and do it a safe amount. I wanna say about 10 feet in front of the bus on a crosswalk when possible. For teen drivers, just know that driving is a privilege. You gotta be really careful when you're driving. I mean, we want you to absolutely have a great time while driving, but just know that you do have a responsibility to be safe, and make sure you continue with that responsibility as you go to school. We cannot control the actions of other people, but we can control the way we react to them. So stay on the sidewalk, follow all the crosswalk rules, and use the crosswalk when possible. Be sure to have a safe route to school and back, and just be careful of other drivers. We can't control what they do.
Small changes can go miles when it comes to saving habitats and connectivity. A few years ago, Council District 5 introduced an ordinance to protect wildlife habitats and mitigate the severity of wildfires. We meet up with CD5's Alison Simard to hear how we can cohabit with our city's natural species in a way that doesn't disrupt their natural movements and the ecosystem.
Over the decades, with innovative engineering, buildings are able to go up on these hillsides in places that would have before been considered fragile, precarious. Now they can really build bigger and bigger homes. Well, the problem with that is that they're not building for wildlife fencing. They're not building for wildlife habitats. They're not building to keep those connections open. They're not building to protect our trees, which clean our water, clean our air. So the biodiversity expert panel looked at the city as a whole, and they decided that this area where we're standing are really the most critical area, that if we don't work right now to protect this wildlife area, we're going to lose some critical connectivity, like that beautiful mountain lion, like the amazing bobcats, like the turkey vultures, like the deer, like the gray fox. They live here and they continue our ecosystem. They keep our rats down, they keep our coyotes down, they keep our habitats healthy. So for us, we can do very little to protect generations of wildlife in the future and protect our overall health and environmental health of Los Angeles. Living up here in the hillsides, nobody can escape the fear of fire. Wildfires, as we know, are more often. There's no longer any kind of wildfire season. It's all year round. One of the benefits of the Wildlife District is to create buffer zones. Not only will it help wildlife keep passing through to find food, to find mates, to find water, but it's also going to help our firefighters. It's going to help mitigate fires by making distance buffer zones between houses and fuel, but it's also going to help the firemen when they need to get in there and fight the fire. They won't have to deal with the kind of fencing and obstructions that makes it harder for them to save not only homes, but to save our hillsides. We have huge areas in our hillsides that have already severed connectivity for these animal migrations. What we're trying to do is have future buildings just leave a little bit on the side. That's what we're trying to do, where you can start to see where some of these homes are really shoulder to shoulder, and we just want to open up where new building happens. We're hoping that you'll make those little bits of changes that can go miles to save habitat and connectivity.
Metro has received a $104 million federal grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation to purchase 160 battery electric buses and for the installation of charging stations. The grant will allow for the transition to zero-emission service on several routes, including the J line between downtown and San Pedro. Zero-emission goals are incorporated in Metro's next-gen bus plan, which reorganizes service to be faster and more reliable for riders. Learn about all the things that Metro is doing to create a better Los Angeles at metro.net. LA Sanitation and Environment's Biodiversity Team recently released the 2022 LA Biodiversity Index Baseline Report. The report addresses what is happening to habitats, how well connected habitats are, and how LA works to protect endangered species. The assessment score of a 37 out of a possible 110 points indicates LA's need to engage in strategies to protect existing biodiversity. The LA San Biodiversity Team will focus on outreach activities and projects such as the upcoming LA BioBlitz Challenge to help engage Angelinos in the process. To read the baseline report and find out more info on biodiversity efforts in LA, click on the Sustainability section at lacitysan.org. The LA Department of Cultural Affairs announced the 25th edition of the City of Los Angeles Individual Master Artist Program known as the COLA Map, which culminates in an online exhibition and a published catalog. The 9 selected COLA IMAP Fellows are artists from the areas of literary, performing, design, and visual arts. Fellows are selected from applicants that have demonstrated more than 15 years of artistic presentation in the LA region. Each artist received a $10,000 grant for the creation of a series, set, or singular new artwork. To view the exhibition and learn more about the 2021-22 COLA IMAP Fellows, visit culturela.org.
The residents of North Hollywood and those visiting the area have had a terrific summer of free concerts. The NoHo Summer Nights, a 4-week free concert series, is how Councilmember Paul Krikorian and the Valley Cultural Foundation have helped the community come together and stay entertained during the summer. Check it out.
It's been a terrific summer of free concerts here at North Hollywood Park. This has been a big priority of mine. We started this over 5 years ago now. We offer these free concert series every summer here in the park. The neighborhood gets to come. People can come from all around to enjoy North Hollywood, enjoy one another's company, all free, and it's a lot of fun.
Valley Cultural has been doing this since our 47th season. And we're excited to be bringing concerts in the park for all of the neighborhoods around. This is our first year back here in NoHo, and we're just excited to be here. We'd like to thank Councilman Krikorian for making this possible and all our sponsors.
Just looking around, people are laughing, playing games, sitting with their dogs. It's just calm. It's something where you're able to meet your neighbors, especially, coming out of COVID. Now you get to see who's around you and, just to meet new people and just relax out in the park when it's not hot.
People want to get out. People love the parks. Parks and Recs has been like almost the cornerstone of our neighborhoods for years. And so to come out here and to allow us to utilize the fabric that brings us all together, bring some great music, by some great entertainers that just happen to be local. It's an amazing combination. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I came out because, of course, I heard about the event, and I've gone to outdoor concerts before, and this is one of the closest ones to my place, which is real convenient. And then I also like that there's booths, so the console people are here, and a couple other booths are here, so I go say hello, see what's going on. It's a good way to catch up.
If you come by, we ask that you please stop by our booths, but also we've got some food trucks. Some of our local vendors, they're out here working hard to bring us some great food, to cater to us, our every need. So when you're listening to music, you don't have to go far to get some food. So, everything you need is right here at NoHo Nights.
The distinct colors and sounds that represent Little Tokyo became brighter and louder during Nisei Week. This Japanese-American festival, now in its 80th edition, delighted attendees with a parade filled with different Japanese dancing styles, pop culture groups, and celebrities. Take a look.
This is a Nisei Week. It's a Japanese-American festival. It's been for a long time. Little Tokyo, of course, it's a Japanese culture. And this Nisei Week is always connected with this Little Tokyo culture. We have Japanese dancing and Japanese pop culture people, and also taiko people, and a lot of celebrities coming.
I just love Japanese culture, and anytime I can participate in something, I try to go to it.
It's a great way for the Japanese American community to come out and support all the different programs and restaurants and community sponsors throughout the Japanese American community. I mean, there really isn't any other time of year where you get to see all of the different community, like Ondo groups and different groups that you wouldn't normally see all at one place. So it's really exciting. We're really excited to be here and be a part of it. My daughter, her sister,
Christine Yada, she just recently became queen of Nisei Week. So we're very excited to see her come up on the JL float. And we just on that little top spot. I'm very excited. We're gonna take a lot of pictures.
Adding diversity and exploring challenges were some of the main goals behind the creation of the inaugural internship program created by the Department of Public Works. Students from historically Black colleges and universities were introduced to engineering opportunities in the city and participated in problem-solving experiences.
We were fortunate this year in the city of Los Angeles to implement the inaugural of the HBCU, better known as the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Internship Program. In this program, we had a focus to introduce students from historically Black colleges to the various engineering hiring departments and bureaus in the city of Los Angeles, and second, to explore the various engineering challenges in the city of Los Angeles with an understanding of the solutions and engineering projects that we implement on an everyday basis in this great city, the second largest city in the country. Finally, we believe that this experience will have given students an opportunity to observe the engineers in the city of Los Angeles and the different cultures that they have come from, while at the same time realizing what kind of cultural diversity they could bring.
I think activities such as this HBCU internship program gets them a sneak peek into coming and seeing what we really do. And I think it was a great program because it wasn't just focused on one department. They got to see what a number of different departments did in regards to engineering.
My department, LA Sanitation Environment, we had the privilege of managing, organizing, and being the project lead for this project. My role is being the program manager and program coordinator and the main contact person.
We had the responsibility of helping to design a grant that was funded for us to implement these engineering programs for college students. In fact, from the innovation grant, we have 3 programs that I have identified, 12 each, college students who come to the city of Los Angeles and are introduced to engineers and engineer problem-solving experiences.
My greatest takeaway from this program, I would say, is the strength in diversity, originality, and individuality.
For me, it's kind of hard to pick one topic, but I would say some things that stood out to me was like the transportation, construction management part, and also the Port of LA and how much money they actually bring in.
My biggest takeaway from this internship is about recycling and being green, just being more mindful about how much plastic I'm using.
For me, it's confidence, because it's easy to feel marginalized, whether because I'm young because I'm female, because I'm Black, but meeting people, fellow interns and engineers, I don't feel that I'll be afraid anymore.
We're here to help because we want to see them here at the city of LA. And I think they would be a tremendous addition to the program that the city of LA with the diversity program.
This week, in our ongoing series celebrating the 60th anniversary of the LA Cultural Heritage Commission, we visit the Oliver House. Built in the 1930s, this modernist house boasts an indoor-outdoor sculptural style and highlights the importance of simple design as a way to improve the quality of life.
Welcome today to the Oliver House, which is a 1933 Rudolf Schindler house and one of the most recently designated monuments in the city of Los Angeles. R.M. Schindler was a modernist architect in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. He's primarily known for modernist houses that really manipulate sculpture space, indoor-outdoor relationships, light and air in all the rooms, and really was the bedrock of the modernist movement in Los Angeles. Freestanding furniture was a component of his residences. They're able to work with the sculptural space, help form the sculpture of the space. In this house particularly, you'll notice that the furniture also creates an alcove for a piano. So piano is part of the living room, but is concealed from it. And it's all part of how Schindler manipulated space in the sculpture.
Well, the reason I applied for the historic status was because it might be important these days for people to think in terms of simple design as a way to improve the quality of life rather than more. It's a very small house. It's 1,275 square feet. I think it's smaller by far than all the other houses that have since been built here, but it's enough. And it's beautiful. And it's a lovely thing to live in it, and it doesn't need all the extravagance that seems to be going on these days. So I think there's an important lesson for our times in, cutting back a little bit and just enjoying nature. It's an indoor-outdoor house. You really feel like you're part of the world around you. You're not shut off in a house. But it's a beautiful thing to just live simply with nature. So I think this house is a good example of how to do it on a very modest level. It's good design.
In this week's feature story, Maria Hallbrown sits down with Martine Singer of Children's Institute to learn about some of the services the organization provides for children and parents across Los Angeles. Known for their work addressing underinvestment and racist policies, Children's Institute strives to interrupt the cycle of poverty. Let's hear this story.
What are some of the things that the Children's Institute is devoted to doing?
So we do a lot of services for children and families. We have an enormous preschool program that includes home visitation. We're throughout South LA. We also do a lot of mental health services. We do services for families to provide resources. A lot of care coordination is really kind of what it boils down to. We work with very vulnerable populations like transition-age foster youth who are aging out of the system. We work with a lot of younger children in the foster care system. We work with families that are living in difficult circumstances because of poverty, because of violence in the home, violence in the community. So the core of our service model is to address trauma. We know that trauma can really hurt minds and bodies. So early trauma can cause not only mental health problems, but it also affects the developing body and it can cause lifelong health problems. So intervening early where there's trauma is critically important to changing that trajectory and not repeating generation after generation of trauma and all of the results that come from it.
We can't hesitate to talk about this space that has just recently been opened. What was the necessary elements that had to come into play to make this place, and what is it hoping to do?
Well, you know, We were just talking about all of the things that you need to recover from trauma.
Sure.
And one is hope. And to me, certainly to Frank Gehry, who designed the building, light is hope. He said a beautiful thing at the dedication of this space. He sort of looked up and he said, you know, light is free. And all you need to do is poke some holes and let the light in. Now, of course, not as easy as he makes it sound, but if you look up and you see the space that's really cathedral-like, the light plays such a huge part in the power of this building. And that you don't need to be an architect or understand, you know, engineering to walk in here and feel it. To feel there's hope, there's beauty, but it's very simple, it's not intrusive, and it is a place that's really a sanctuary for the community, for the children and families, and for our staff who come to work here.
Attend the Festival of Philippine Arts and Culture. Learn about home composting and urban gardening with LA Sand specialists, or see Macbeth at the Griffith Park Free Shakespeare Festival. All this up next on Things to Do.
Attention Angelinos, join SoCal's longest-running Filipino-American tradition at Levitt Pavilion, the Festival of Philippine Arts and Culture. Enjoy the cultural diversity of our city on an evening filled with a strong lineup of Filipino and Filipino-American multidisciplinary artists and vendors. Food and merchandise booths, art installations, Filipino storytelling for children, live music performances, and many other things are sure to delight attendees. The Festival of Philippine Arts and Culture is a free event open to everyone, taking place at Levitt Pavilion in MacArthur Park on Saturday, September 3rd at 4 p.m. To register and get more details, search for the Festival of Philippine Arts and Culture event at eventbrite.com. If you'd like to take good care of your garden while being environmentally sustainable, check out the LA Sanitation Home Composting and Urban Gardening Workshop at the Gaffey Nature Center in San Pedro. This free workshop is a chance to learn how to make soil out of kitchen scraps and yard trimmings with the guidance of LA Sand specialists, who will also teach attendees about pollinators, herbs, and drought-tolerant California-friendly plants. Make sure to bring proof of LA City residency to get gardening supplies for a discounted rate. The LA Sand Home Composting and Urban Gardening Workshop takes place at the Gaffey Nature Center in San Pedro on Saturday, September 3rd at 9 a.m. Registration is required. For more information, including additional dates and locations, visit lacitysand.eventbrite.com. Double toil and trouble. Something special is brewing at the Griffith Park Free Shakespeare Festival. Macbeth, Shakespeare's most seductive tragedy, will transport audience members to an eerie world where characters appear from behind trees, magic is happening in the woods, and nothing is quite what it seems. All performances are free, but advanced ticket reservations are required. The performance of Macbeth with the Griffith Park Free Shakespeare Festival will take place at the Old Zoo in Griffith Park every day, Wednesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. Catch it before the production closes on September 4th. For more details, visit iscla.org. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.